The Valorant devs just need to delete Fracture. I don't think they really understand what is wrong with Fracture. I've played the map in just an insane amount of time since it's been out, and I've had just nothing but problems with it. And the only problem is on Fracture is A site. I think B site is completely fine. It's very kind of holdable. It's big enough. There's a lot of like retake options as well, especially when it comes to smokes. If you don't have like a harbor, you can't really carve the site too much. But if you have like a prim or like an omen or whatever, there's only like a few places you can really smoke off, and then there's still quite a lot of open space left on the site. So I think it's a relatively balanced site, and especially if you compare it to the other sites that are in the game right now. But it's just A site. And yes, they made an update and they changed a few things with A site, but what did that really do? Did that really help out? I think like kinda like playing retake once they've already gained site control, it became a little bit easier, I guess, because you got like the ramp now when it on the heaven. But and I guess like drop is a little bit more open. Those weren't the issues that were wrong with A site. I think that the problem is with A site is that you can take it so easily. Because as a Cypher main, I struggle to hold the site. Maybe some of you don't have that issue, but I mean, I'm struggling to hold the site because what happens, let's just go into this real quick, is that what happens is you got your breach here, you got the enemy breach. I'm just playing site, whatever. And then you got the enemy raise. And then what happens is that the breach will stun. And then the raise is just going to nade it, right? And now you're just on site as a sniper. And it doesn't matter whether you're underneath or on top. You're going to die because they're going to, if you're on top, they're just going to spray the box. And if you're underneath, you're going to die to the stun nade combo, right? And that sucks. And don't forget as well, with Teo, he can just double attack rocket the site, and then you have to run out of sight anyway. So it's very difficult to play off of your utility as a Cypher, as a KJ, as a whatever, when you're playing on A site on Fracture. So what's the issue? And the issue is that you play on site, you die. You have to trade your life. The minimum you have to get here, you can try and trade for a 1-to-1, but it's still, the odds are against your favor because they go in there, they plant, they get out, then they can just play for the plant, right? And now time is against you as a defender. So when you're on site, you're forced out, and then you're dead, and you have to minimum get 2. And that kind of makes it semi-viable because then retake is a lot easier. But the only way you play A is by retake. So as a Cypher, as a Sentinel, your only option is to play B. Because if I play on A and then put my wires on entrance, I have to play for the wires. And I will either get shot at by Heaven if it's not smoked, which is very regularly, or they've taken drop so quickly that, again, whilst I'm trying to get out of the stun nade combo, I'm just, I'm left in the open trying to fight Heaven, try to get out of sight, and then I get pushed from behind and I die down. I'm just dead in the middle of sight. So there's just so many problems. And if you look at any of the other sites in the game, right, there's just loads of escape routes. So like if you breach stun, I don't know, if you breach stun from, let's say, Heaven, for instance, on Bind, if you breach stun from Hookah, there's so many different places that you can stand. And if you, I don't know, raise nade from Garden or Tree, whatever. If you raise nade from Garden back aside, you can still try and get out. There's still a way out, because this is usually smoked when that stuff happens. You're like, you guys are pushing Hookah, and then they smoke Heaven, and then you can kind of get out of sight, or you can play like there and see if anyone gets across, get like a pick that way. Or you can try and, the best that you can, if the Garden's smoked and Hookah's smoked, you can try and play around here, right? Or you can actually just play and try and defend Hookah yourself. But there's different ways that you can get out of that site. And especially A, there's loads of different ways you can play around A on Bind. So if we go on to Split and I'm trying to defend Split, and they attack, if you try and attack B, then they can stun, then they can, nade back a site with raise, try and get there, and then you can still, you can still get out. You can still, there's many places to play on B, and there's loads of places to play on A. There's different escape routes is what I'm trying to get at. And the only site in the game that is kind of similar to the one that's in Fracture is either A site or B site on Ascent. When you're playing on B or A on Ascent, I guess like the raise nade on entrance is going to nade the back of like the generator here. or underneath heaven or just on top of heaven. And as a Cypher, you can kind of play around that, especially as it's usually smoked, right? You can kind of move around. It's still kind of confining, but there is more space for you to move around that raise nade, move around the stun nade combo, or just like other different combos in the game. You have that space on A site. And if you're playing on site on B and they push lane or something, you can kind of get one there. But this is where the issue is. It's Boathouse. And that's what they need on Fracture. Just in my opinion. They need something like Boathouse on A site on Fracture. Because if they have that, there is somewhere for you to be able to move and still try and maintain site control without having to play retake. Because when you're in like iron, bronze, gold, plat, diamond, they don't know how to play retake. You know what I mean? Like they don't know how to play retake. It's like it's either I stay on site, I die, or they try and push one by one and get taken out trying to go for spike. And it doesn't work. It never works. Like I don't know what the percentages are of the success rate on A, but they've got to be pretty high for like 99.9% of the Valorant community to hate this map. There's just so many people that hate this map and just don't know how to play this map. And I feel like if that's the case, then remove it. And I know that they are removing this map in like the next update in a couple of months' time, but we still got this map in the pool, and it doesn't make the game fun. What, do I have to wait 3 months to get like Ascent back, or like Icebox, for instance? I hate Icebox. I'm not a good Icebox player, and I would rather have Icebox in the meta than Fracture. Usually it's to play aggressive, right? You get like a deep smoke in, there and get, you know, a couple people to play aggro on A main. But that's the only it's the only way that you can defend A site on Fracture. It is the only way is to play aggressive, because if they take that space, you're now left in here. So it takes like a full kind of mental shift in terms of gameplay. If you're not an aggressive sentinel or an aggressive player, it's going to be really difficult for you to try and maintain control of A, right? So what they need, in just again, like this is my opinion, right? You guys can disagree with me, but I think what they need is something like a place to defend from on the map. It doesn't need to be this big. This is just as an example. I did it with my mouse. But if you look at Ascent B site, you have this place to play in. You have Boathouse to play in. If you go on to where is it? It's Pearl, right? And Pearl has this nice back bit here as well to help maintain control of that space, because when they jump onto site, they also have to check here. And as a Cypher, you can be like in the corner here, you can be there, you can be playing over here. Like there's lots of different places that you can play with on these different sites. But on Fracture, there isn't. You have to play offsite, you have to play for retake, or you have to play your life or play aggressive, which doesn't always go well. It needs something like this in order for you as a player to play off of and defend the site. My opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But I just think like they brought Fracture in with the new changes, and the changes is that they extended the new kind of like heaven ramp, whatever, the hookah, and then they opened up drop. And they weren't the issues. The issues were maintaining site control as a sentinel. A defense character is unable to, or very, very disadvantaged by trying to defend A site. And you only can play for retake. Which kind of factors in. So are you only thinking about kind of like pro play here? That, oh guys, just leave A open, we'll play off of site, and then we'll play for retake, and we'll just crush site later on. But in ranked lobbies, you're not going to do that. It's just not happening. It won't happen. And if they're going to continue making changes like extending out the heaven and opening up this a little bit more, or maybe just, I don't know, because they're about to take it away. If they take it away and then they, I don't know, open up entrance a little bit more to make it harder for them to get onto site, again, I still think that misses the main issue of A. I think there's no way for your Sentinel not to trade his life on site. And then it makes it very difficult for your Sentinel to be able to play on site, which is your Sentinel's job. It's your Sentinel's role. I think that's just kind of my rant about it. I had to make that. I feel like I had to make this video on it. I see this map so often, and I see so many people complain. I see so many people dodge. I dodge this map all the time, and it might be just bad. And I don't mind just being bad at a map, but like for me, like it's automatically mentally like a D rank. I'm just done when I see this map. I'm not very good at it. I'm not very good at it at all. That's just kind of my breakdown of it. I mean, someone else may have like a better breakdown of it, or could just show me how to defend the map as a Cypher. But right now, I just think that is what the map is missing. The map is missing the ability to move around the amount of utility that's about to come into the site from the entrance push, right? Because they don't care about smokes on entrance. They just run through them and maintain site control and just get it. And it's like, okay, cool, Fade, great. Great. I'm dead on site. I've been rage naded like a billion times. Happens every round. I'll just go play somewhere else. And then they get site and you have to play retake. So yeah, I just think that's the main issue, in my opinion, on A. But let me know what you guys think. As a Sentinel, how do you play A on Fracture? Do you think that Fracture's a good map? Do you think it should stay in the pool? Or do you think that it should just delete it? And in my opinion, if they don't add a way for you as a Sentinel to hold that site and you have to play for retake, delete it. And I delete it. It doesn't make sense. No one's going to do well on this map. If you have to work with your team that well, randoms, to get the site back under control and to go for defuse. But yeah, I needed that off my chest. That is, that feels like a weight. It feels like a weight that's been lifted from my chest. I'm not gonna lie to you. But yeah, again, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next one.